welcome to Berries in Bloom. I'm Katie and I'm happy you're here. On this channel, I discuss all things homeschool related with a little bit of bookish content and a dash of lifestyle thrown in. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, go ahead and subscribe and give this video a like. Today, I want to talk to you about our family culture around athletics and extracurricular. As I've discussed this philosophy with other homeschooling moms in the community and on my Instagram page, it has really resonated with a lot of moms. And so I thought this would be a really helpful video to make. So as a little bit of a backstory, my husband is an athlete. He played soccer in school and then went on a full ride scholarship to play soccer for William Penn University. And after we were married, he played club soccer. And unfortunately, he did have some health problems that paused that for a while. And then about 10 years ago, he switched to playing competitive tennis. And he's been able to do that as he's aged and had to learn how to live with an autoimmune illness. And tennis has been really good for him. And when I say competitive tennis, he's just playing locally competitively, just for fun. It's not anything that is like big, like he's not a semi-pro or pro or anything like that. He just plays competitive locally. But athletics has always been a big part of who he is as a person. That's where he finds joy. That's where he stays active and moves his body. That's how he connects with people in the community and our family. And that's how he finds true rest, is through athletics. And so any type of family event, like we can be on Thanksgiving, we'll be with all the extended family and cousins and everything. And if you can't find him, he's outside playing football with somebody, playing spike ball, playing volleyball, playing basketball, with, the nieces and nephews. And that's who he is. He's always just immersed in anything athletic, because that's, like I said, where he finds his joy. So, of course, marrying such a person has shaped our family culture to include athletics in our home. Now, I am not athletic. I probably could not do anything with the equipment, like hold a ball and walk at the same time without hurting myself. I'm very much more bookish and more like, let's spend time together, social. That's who I am. We're a pretty extreme case of opposites attract, to be honest. Anyway, but yes, athletics has come into our family culture because that's what my husband values. And so as we have looked at what activities we will put our kids in, we've really have developed a philosophy to follow that leads to, I guess, what we envision athletics and extracurricular should be. So, watching our oldest daughter, so I have a daughter that's 23, a daughter that's 21, and my 23-year-old danced classical ballet through school, and then she did high school drill team, and my second daughter chose swim team. And watching their experiences as they grew in their sports made me realize that my daughter's ballet had a little bit of an end date, because it would be really hard for her to continue dancing post high school. And that has rang true for her. Although she is starting to take some more dance classes in college. That's been really fun for her. But my daughter that was swimming, at the swim pool, I would see people of all ages. I would see people up to 80, in their 80s, swimming at the swim pool. And I was like, this is such a great sport. You can do it your entire life. And that started to shape how I viewed sports. It's the same with tennis. As my husband started picking up tennis, I started realizing that he was able to pick that up in his 30s. And he does have some natural talent, but he was able to, do well with it and enjoy it. And so I just started viewing athletics differently. So as our younger three has started coming into sports, we have limited their options to things they can do for their entire life. So we basically say swim team, tennis, golf, and then things like hiking, kayaking, rock climbing, outdoorsy stuff. Those are kind of the things that we limit our athletics to. Martial arts is also on the table. We don't have any children doing martial arts, but like taekwondo or jujitsu. We've also, given those as options, although no one has picked those. So currently my two boys have opted into doing tennis, and my youngest daughter is on swim team, and those are the sports that they have chosen. And one thing I want to say though about athletics is that we do not participate in travel teams. My husband and I decided very early on that that was going to take too much time away from our family, especially in the nice months. And we decided it was going to take basically be financially too hard for us to have them participate in travel teams. And so we have chosen not to participate in any sort of travel sports. However, as my daughter progresses in swim team, we might travel for day trips for her swim meets. But at this time, we just participate locally in any events when it comes to their sports. And we know that that's going to limit their opportunities, and we're fine with that. Quite honestly, I have seen people who put their kids in travel sports and they end up paying for an entire college degree, that much in fees towards the travel team, hoping that their child gets a scholarship to college. And I understand if that's part of their family culture, that's what they value, good for them. That's just not something that my husband and I have talked about valuing. And it's funny, a lot of people have asked my husband, give me tips. How could I be better with soccer and all this stuff, especially when he was younger. And he didn't really have any tips to give them. His advice was, you have to love it. He didn't start playing until he was 10, and him and two boys down the street, that's what they did. When they weren't in school, they were playing soccer in the street, in their backyards. And that's what they did for fun. And that's how he got as good as he was with soccer, is he just loved it. And so he was doing it all the time. That's kind of the Roger Federer approach to tennis. You have to just play with it. And when you play, if it's playing, you'll want to do that more, and that's how you get good, essentially. More practice, you'll get better. If you think practice is playing, you're going to get better if you love it. So my husband, even though he enjoys competitive sports, he agrees with me that we don't value the travel teams, and we don't value trying to have our kids earn scholarship with sports, because we just want them to find joy in playing their sport. But something that we have realized is that you only find joy in your sport if you play well at that sport. Now, we don't want our kids to be the top player. They're never going to be the top player because we don't do travel teams. But if you can aim for kind of the middle, that's where I think they find the most joy and enjoyment. Nobody likes to go and play a tennis match and have, get creamed. That's not fun. So we do realize that there has to be a level of skill in order to find that enjoyable. So we do put our kids in organized lessons year round for their sport with good coaching, so that they are learning the correct techniques and they are gaining a level of skill that allows them to be just competitive enough to enjoy playing. But even though we do it year round, my boys play tennis 3 hours a week. They go twice a week for 90 minutes. And my daughter that does swim team does 3 hours a week. She does 1 hour, 3 days a week. So we're not spending a lot of time in those athletics, but it is part of our year-round schedule. So in a nutshell, when it comes to athletics, like I said, we pick things that they can do their entire life, and we pick things that they can do locally, and we invest in good coaching so that they can find the most enjoyment out of that athletic that they have chosen. The other thing is that I just realized that childhood is really the best time to develop hobbies and talents. As adults, it's really hard once you have, graduated college and you have a job and you're married and you have kids. It's really hard to start developing a hobby at that time. I'm not saying it's impossible, but you'd have to dedicate a lot of time to that. And quite frankly, as a homeschool mom, I can't do that. So part of this culture that we have shaped has come out of the experience that I've had between my husband and I. He has been able to continue being athletic because he developed those skills while he was in childhood. I, on the other hand, was not athletic. Quite frankly, my mom didn't want to drive us to activities. And so we did things, but not consistently enough to ever be really good at anything. And so I definitely am more bookish and more social. Like in high school, I just wanted to hang out with my friends and read books. That was kind of who I was at the core. Anyway, but I started realizing that as a homeschool mom, I was basically investing my time into my family, and I started, finding homeschooling kind of filled that bucket for me as like a hobby, kind of. I know it's not a hobby, it's more of a calling, but I viewed it as kind of my thing where I was spending a lot of time reading books and learning about things and investigating. And this is part of the reason why I've become so knowledgeable about curricula and resources, because it became kind of like my hobby. But anyway, I view childhood as the time to develop lifelong hobbies and interests. And so that is another reason why we have prioritized sports that they can do their entire life. And then we also look at music and art and handicrafts and things like woodworking, those kind of things that they can do their entire life. And as I have seen my children grow, it has been wonderful to see their talents emerge. I have 2 kids that are very, very artistic. I have 1 kid that's very, very crafty. I have one that is very athletic, like his dad. And so it's been wonderful to see their talents emerge and to know that I'm shaping them to have a bright future. So as they go to college, as they get married, my boys can still go play tennis on the weekends with, their buddies. My daughter can go swim at the local swim pool. They can all play the piano in church, or, for their own enjoyment in their families. My kids that are crafty, he can build things. My daughters that are artistic, they can draw, when they want to. And so I just have loved to see the possibilities and the bright future they have ahead of them, that where they are taking these very intentionally selected athletics and extracurricular, and they're taking those with them on their life journey. And so anyway, that in a nutshell is our family culture around athletics and extracurricular. And I know that other families are going to have a difference of opinion. I know some families that no matter how hard they try, they do not have athletic children, and that's fine. If that's not something that your family is interested in, or you might have kids, or your family might be into the travel teams, and I'm saying that's fine too. It really is up to each family how you want to define your family culture. But I do think that the way we view athletics and extracurricular resonates with a lot of people who just want to simply find ways to enjoy their life. And hobbies and athletics and interests are kind of the flavor and the spice that helps us find enjoyment in life. We can't only be working all the time. We have to have other things that bring us joy. And so I do think that our family culture, as I have discussed this with people, as I mentioned earlier, does resonate with people. And so I hope you found this helpful. And if you like this video, like I said at the beginning of the video, like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.